Okay, so here, these four questions are here to help you understand that we have to focus on the x. Okay, it's the x that we're trying to get. We're not trying to get the y by itself. We're not trying to get the p. We're not trying to get the t. We're trying to get the x by itself. And so it doesn't really matter about all these complications here, because here the only thing that's surrounding that x, is this plus p. And to get rid of plus t rather. So to get rid of the plus t, I need to do minus t. So I'm just going to get y squared p minus t equals x, and I've unwrapped the x. Over here, okay, look how complicated this is, okay, but it shouldn't worry you. In fact, I've done it to try and scare you, right, because it looks so sciencey and complicated, but actually it's just the x we're trying to get, just the x, and the x has only got one layer on it, that's that takeaway q. So I just got to do plus q, so x is equal to whatever all of that stuff was, plus q. So remember, don't let the periphery concern you or worry you. Focus your mind on the central goal of releasing the x. And here I've just put it in a sort of generic form, where I've got x plus something equals something. Well, I'm just going to do x is equal to, let me just fill that in. X is equal to whatever that was minus this. And here I've got x, take away some rubbish, is equal to something else. Okay, you just get rid of the minus rubbish. Okay, so let me just write that in neatly. And so I'm just going to get whatever that was plus. Okay? And here, I'm trying to get a look, it's looking more complicated, but it is really exactly the same as what we were doing before. So let's have a look at this one. Okay, now notice that the y is being squared, not the x. The x, okay, this is our prize, this is what we're trying to get. This, okay, is being multiplied by qp. Well, x is not being squared, it's the y that's being squared, not the x. The only thing happening to the x is the timesing of the qp. And when I need to do the opposite of timesing by qp, I need to divide by qp. If I divide by qp, q divided by q is 1, p divided by p is 1, not 0, but 1. 1 times x is just x, and I've released the x. But whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. That's the fair and balanced thing to do. So you get y squared over qp. Let's go over to this side. Here I've got x being divided by st squared equals r. The x, okay, the x is not being squared, okay? The x is being divided by something. So what I need to do is I need to times it by st squared, because this will cancel and this will cancel. But whatever you do, now I wouldn't normally write this, so I'm going to put it in a fluffy cloud, because I'd think it in my mind. And so I've got to think that on this side, I'd multiply by that by st squared. Whatever you do to one side, you've got to do to the other. So I'm going to get x is equal to r st squared. And here I've put it in a generic form. I've got x being multiplied by something equaling something. And what I've got to do here, okay, is just get rid of the multiply that I don't want. Don't want this, so I'm going to divide it. So that this and this cancels, and you get 1. 1 times x is just x. And whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I end up with that over that. On this side, we've got the divide operation. And I want to get rid of this, so I'm going to, in my mind, times it by that. Both sides. So that this and this cancel, and you get x is equal to this times by, I'm not going to avoid using the time symbol, because two things just next to each other in algebra means times.